18.
Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. Peter Mears, CEO at Havas Media Group, was visiting India around this festival time. Peter, who has spent over 2 decades in a media agency setup, has a very optimistic outlook for the India market. I spoke to him about many things, including the growth strategy and investment plans for the country. How has the business fared in terms of growth during these uncertain times? What are the challenges of running a media agency setup today? And much more. Peter, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thanks for having me.
Havas in the country has transformed quite a bit over the past few years. It was, I believe, about 150 to 200 people in the country, and now it has grown to over 1,000 employees. So how does that feel, and what are your growth plans
Yeah, I'm
for
very proud of the local leadership team. They've done a great job over the last 3 years in not only developing the product, but also expanding the breadth of offer that we have in the market. And I think we've done a great job in attracting new and different capability partners into the family, which has really helped our client relationships and created a stickier and deeper relationship with many client partners. So I'm super proud of the team here. I'm super proud of the progress we've made, and it's great to be now a 1,000-member family in India. As you say, we were only 300 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and globally so much has changed. The biggest one has been the pandemic that has impacted our day-to-day lives. Currency, market fluctuation, ongoing war, inflationary headwinds. How is all of this, Peter, impacting your business?
Well, it's a lot, isn't it? I mean, as you know, the list that you've just gone through is significant, and that's just in the last 3 years. And I think that it's a constant. You know, change is a constant in our lives, in business, in this industry, and also transformation, therefore, is a necessity. I'm really proud of the way that we were able to manage the pandemic. Now we've got a conflict in Eastern Europe, which continues to cause problems across not only the very micro region, but also across the rest of Europe, and the effects of that, I think, are being felt globally. We've got inflation happening in many parts of the world. We're on the edge of recession in many parts of the world as well. So there are a lot of pressures that our clients are facing in different markets around the world, and our job is to help them navigate those pressures and help them understand how they can make an impact through media and through communications. So to stay ahead of that requires us to be thinking not just about 2022, 2023, but what does the world look like in 2025? And I think India is a great case for us to be thinking about what the world looks like in 2025.
In what way?
Well, the influx of new technology adoption in this market way outpaces much of the rest of the world. You know, we've focused a lot over the last couple of years on our commerce, on our e-commerce practice, and the potential for e-commerce transaction in India is incredible. Already there are 200 million transactions happening already. By 2030, it looks like India is going to be the 3rd largest market in the world. There's a massive opportunity for clients and for us, therefore, to help those clients navigate the e-commerce marketplace in this country. And a lot of the lessons that we're learning already in India are being exported to other markets around the world. So the importance of India has just become even greater for us.
Having said that, what will be the key focus areas for HMG in the India market?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of the way the team have built a very strong core product, which we're offering our clients today, and we have great client relationships. We're doing great work. We've got great talent here. The focus for us for the next 3 years are 3 key areas, in the areas of content, commerce, and developing and building our data practice. And we believe those areas globally and in India are going to be what differentiate us and really help us drive stickier and deeper client relationships.
Yeah, you mentioned the word transformation, when it comes to navigating through these uncertain times. What kind of transformation, according to you, has happened at HMG over the past couple of years, and how are you taking this forward? What will be the next story or the next journey of this transformation phase?
The influx of the e-commerce channel has transformed everything every way that clients engage with their consumers. And we've built a practice over the last couple of years called Havas Market, which we now have active in over 20 markets, which really helps us harness that potential for clients. So not just in activation, in e-commerce activation or social activation, but also a consultancy around helping clients understand how they can navigate the entire commerce ecosystem. And that, I think, is already starting to help change the way that we engage with our clients, but for the next 3 to 5 years is going to be a massive focus for us.
Yeah.
And particularly in India, given the scale of the population here and all of those people having amazing computers in their hands to be able to buy stuff is a great opportunity for us.
And also, if you can throw in some light on how do you maintain a profitable media group during these uncertain times? Because typically when things get tough for these big FMCG companies, automakers, the first thing that gets hit, of course, is the marketing and the advertising budget, and which in turn will definitely impact your business. So how do you maintain that during these tough times?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we've been able to do over the last couple of years is really focus on our core. Thankfully, we'd spent 2018, 2019 really focusing on what our product is for our clients, and we really invested heavily in the whole meaningful media space. So our belief is that certain clients and certain consumers have media which is more influential for them. So we really focused in on that space, and we built a whole planning system around that called MX. So having a planning system and a way of working with our clients going into the pandemic has really helped us through the pandemic, but also has helped us coming out of it as well, because it's made those client relationships stickier, but it's also helped us understand which is the most influential media that clients should be using. And I think that's really helped us secure those relationships and also ensure that the investment that we're making on our clients' behalf is having the greatest impact.
Earlier, it used to be your WPP, Omnicom, IPG, these were the groups that had significant say and stake when it comes to the business in the India market. And ours has grown significantly over the past couple of years. So what, according to you, has led to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the team locally has done a great job. I think the way that we've been able to build and grow the network globally has helped as well. So we've been able to develop and bring some new clients into the group which are active in India. So having more clients helps you build more activity, build greater impact with the local media supplier community. So that's definitely helped us. And also I think that, whereas this used to be, the media business used to be about scale, I think that scale is less important today than it has been in the past. I think there are so many different choices available for advertisers in terms of media partners that just being a scale player doesn't necessarily help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. And that's helped us as well.
If you can share your growth strategy for the India market, in the coming days.
Yeah, so I mean,
Is it going to be acquisition-led?
So, I mean, I'm not going to give anything away about specifics, but, we've been very active on the acquisition front in many markets over the last 3 years, including India. So, you can expect more of that. The group has an appetite to focus and invest in India. So we're investing in talent, we're investing in the product, and, we're going to invest in building capabilities or acquiring capabilities when and where it makes sense for the group. So, we're committed to India, and we're committed to seeing the growth that we've experienced over the last couple of years continue up until 2030.
And what is the kind of investment that we will see from HMG for the India market in the coming months?
Yeah, I mean, we're investing in the product. We're building a centre of excellence here in India, which we'll be using in the data space for the rest of the world. This is going to be in Mumbai. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're building out capabilities here. And also we're looking at different acquisition opportunities around specific capability areas. I mean,
Like?
you know, like commerce, like data, like content. Those are the areas that we're interested in. We're going to continue investigating all different partners in the market and see what opportunities there are for growth.
All right, thank you so much and all the best for that.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Synamedia CEO Paul Segre speaking about the media landscape in India and the impact of password sharing by users on OTT platforms. Welcome back. Synamedia is a video technology provider which has products that cover content distribution and delivery, security, advertising and broadband solutions. This UK headquartered company helps service providers and content owners to protect, enrich and deliver video in a better manner. Synamedia CEO Paul Segre was visiting Mumbai recently and I spoke to him about the media landscape in the country. What are the kind of solutions that OTT platforms and broadcasters are looking for, best way to arrest piracy in the country and the impact of password sharing by users on OTT platforms and much more. Paul, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you.
Piracy is something which has been a big concern. How do you address that issue in a country like ours, and what is the technology that you have that will ensure that the content remains with the authorized users?
Right. Well, as you said, it's a huge problem, and it's only getting bigger as content rights for sports and the amount of money people are spending on originals goes up. We have a family of products. One focused on detecting if there's leakage to pirates, and then remediation. We call it monitoring and takedown. So that has to do with something called watermarking, which you can put a mark on a video that a human eye can't see, so you can trace, the source of video. We have another product that stops pirates from stealing both the content as well as the service. You can steal an entire service as well. And then we have services around that that provide intelligence of who the pirates are, what they're doing, what content they're stealing, and things like that. So really a family of products. No one thing solves a problem. You need to come at it from multiple angles.
Yeah. And you're meeting your clients in the country. What are their key requirements, Paul?
Yeah, I'd say we have some big traditional providers of video. So for example, we're meeting with Bharti Airtel, we're meeting with Tata Play, and then we have some of the new entrants as well. So meeting with today with Z, we're meeting with Sony Live, and we're meeting with Voot. What we're focused on is a couple of things. First of all, we're focused on the end customer needs and what consumers want, and what they want is, they want aggregation, so they want services that provide them the content they want. They want ease of discovery, so once they get in, can they find it, or are they on, searching for what service provides it on the internet? So we have a focus on that. We have a focus on advertising. And advertising is important to service providers, but it's also important to consumers, because consumers, they want an experience at a price point they can afford, and only through advertising can you either offer it for free or lower cost.
Correct.
We have anti-piracy, and that's important for people generating content rights or buying content rights. And as you've seen in the Indian market, there have been some very high prices paid for the IPO, for example. Yeah. And then we're focused on data analytics, understanding who your subscribers are, do they have a good experience? So sort of the experience side of thing, who they are, what do you advertise to them? And then a whole series of products focused on delivering good video, high quality content over streaming. So things like low latency, which is important. If you're watching particularly a sporting event, you'd rather see it at the same time versus a minute later, which can happen over a streaming service with not optimized for good latency.
So, from this conversation, I can gauge that, you're trying to fill in a lot of lacunas that currently exist. Yes, we have seen a lot of growth and penetration over the past few years. What is your outlook for the Indian media landscape, Paul?
We look at it and we just see tremendous opportunity. There's just so much innovation here. So we, in a dynamic market, especially a market where there's so much content, so you think about the Indian landscape, you have, Bollywood, so lots of content there. You're pretty sports crazy, I think we need to agree.
Yeah.
And so between those two things, there's a lot of competition for, who is going to be the predominant, provider of video entertainment. And that type of competition, as well as just new people coming into the ecosystem. Yeah. When you look at how many people have broadband here, how many people have TVs, there's still, I think, 150 million homes that are still primarily over their, watching video over their smartphone. So there's both innovation as well as just a lot of new, new people in the population who are, getting TVs or coming online.
Paul, over the past couple of years, we have seen how platforms such as Netflix are raising concerns over how sharing of passwords is impacting their revenue, and it's impacting the numbers of users that they have, the user base. What do you think of this particular matter?
So we have a product specifically focused on that, and it can identify the amount of sharing. So it can identify whether there is sharing casually that's more likely to be within a family group, or if something's fraud, right? So we've seen some cases where people are sharing with 50,000 people. I think can agree
that's
fraud and that's bad, and that's not friends and family. Other people are sharing with friends and family, and for that, I think it's a business decision for a provider what they want to do with it. So what our tool does is, it provides information on these are people are sharing, these are the extent of the sharing, and then we feed that into, the sort of marketing departments of our customers, and they can decide, do they want to create packages that are sort of like, friends and family packages, so for a little bit more, you can participate in the sharing, so that's a good thing, it's a way to market. Do they want to say, well, have a password reset because they think it's inappropriate? Or if they see something that's clearly fraud, they can turn it off. But I think the key point is, it's sort of a business decision of, do you want to allow sharing to get your service out more broadly? What level of sharing do you want to allow? And then how do you leverage knowledge about that sharing to turn it into an opportunity to enhance revenue?
Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It is time for us to slip into a short break. On the other side, FleishmanHillard's global CEO, John Saunders, who has been a veteran in the PR business, speaks to us about some of the top things to consider while making a company's PR strategy in today's times. Welcome back. During this festive time, visiting India was another global CXO, FleishmanHillard's global CEO, John Saunders. John is a veteran in communications and public relations. I caught up with him and spoke to him about how the role of a PR agency has changed, some of the top things to consider while making a company's PR strategy in today's times, and the way forward for this industry. John, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.
You're looking dapper in a kurta, I must say.
Thank you. It's my favorite color.
Good to know. So, John, you are visiting India after a couple of years, I believe. What excites you about the India market today?
Well, first of all, I always loved coming here for many reasons. But on a personal level, while I represent a firm that's headquartered in America, I am Irish, and I think there are very deep connections between Ireland and India, both in a contemporary and historical context. But most of all, when I come to India, what I find that I don't find in any other country is a sense of humor that's very akin to that of the Irish. And nowhere in the world do I go that I find that people celebrate irony in a way that you do here in India, as we do in Ireland. Most other countries don't get irony, but you do to a spectacular degree, and I very much identify with that. But from a business point of view, it's imperative to be here in India. I mean, India politically is one of the most important countries in the world today, but economically increasingly so.
So much has changed, John, over the past couple of years. How has the role of a PR agency changed, especially, post the pandemic as compared to what it was prior?
First one is that the imperative to communicate with one's staff, with one's employees, has changed and probably changed forever. In that, quite literally, everyone's staff was a captive audience because they turned up in the workplace every day. And so throughout the pandemic, there's been a great call on firms like ours to help our clients as they figured out how do you communicate with a workforce that often maybe 100,000 people, 200,000 people, or even more when they are all working remotely. So that presents very different challenges. And now here we are today where it looks like for the foreseeable future, who knows what's going to happen in 5 years' time, but it's going to be a hybrid workforce and a workforce that has increasing power. In other words, the power today resides very much with employees rather than the employer.
That's internal. What about external?
Externally, I think the CEOs were very keen to remain neutral on all of the issues of the day, whereas both employees and customers are increasingly expecting CEOs to take a stand or have a view on the issues of the day, whether they're to do with politics or do with the environment or a whole range of other subjects, including mental health, for example. And that is uncomfortable for a lot of CEOs whose primary focus has been the bottom line. But they now need to be able to communicate on a range of other issues.
Great. You have been, ever since you stepped stepped into the business, you have been with Fleischmann for a very long time now. I believe you were 26 or 27 when you joined the agency. What has changed and what has evolved in this business over the past so many years, and what have been the key milestones of your journey?
Well, when I came into this business from journalism, public relations was largely a subset of marketing. At its best now, marketing is really a subset of communications, broader communications. And what we see today is that the role of the Chief Communications Officer is one that reports directly into the CEO. So it's very much a C-suite conversation in a way that it wasn't in the past. And CEOs realize that communications is an integral part of the business success and business culture today. And so that has really changed. I think going back 20, 30 years ago, a lot of people who came into the business came from my type of background. They were former journalists. Increasingly, we're seeing specialists coming in from all kinds of other areas of business life, and research and data is now a key component of what we do. So, I mean, today, FleishmanHillard employs dozens, if not hundreds, of individuals who are data scientists.
What are the things, John, that one should consider while making the PR strategy for an organization? With social media, with so much up and down roller coaster kind of a macroeconomic situation that organizations are dealing with everything happening.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and particularly when you add the dimension of social media. To me, if there's one word that's pivotal to this conversation, that is the word earned. Ultimately, we all, whether as individuals or as corporations, you have to earn your reputation. And I believe at the center of everything we do, every campaign, it's about how is this building the reputation of the brand, building the reputation of the company. And there's no easy way to doing that. And I think that those companies that somehow believe that their PR activity can be some kind of sweet sugar that you pour over a sour situation, or it's camouflaging bad behaviors. There's no real future in that. Today, even very small brands, even like a startup, pick anywhere, a startup in Kerala, can become a global sensation very quickly by having a smart social strategy, and can very quickly garner an audience that could be from anywhere in the world. Heretofore, that was absolutely impossible. So spending money wisely with a very good social strategy can make an enormous difference to business. And so I see that the role of influencers within our business, for example, specifically in areas like healthcare, can make and will make a very big difference in the years to come. And we can now count the impact, thanks to what I mentioned earlier on about the data scientists we have. We can now count the impact in a way that public relations was quite unable to do, again, only a short few years ago.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
It's my great pleasure. Thank you, Shibani.